man, the DZON is on the ropes, and they look like they might just go down. They are on the ropes, man. And Tupac said something once before, and I'm sure he got it from somebody else, but it was a good saying. And that saying was, don't go to war unless your money right. And the DZON tried to go to war, and their money wasn't right. And not only was their money not right, they were spending substantially more than they should have been spending, or they should have utilized the funds that they had in a better way. As far as what they were paying certain fighters, you're paying someone like a Canelo Alvarez $300 million. Yet you look on this other side and you see someone like a PBC who has like a $300 million deal over a certain amount of years, and you see the amount of fights that they're able to put on with that, year to year to year. Right there, you should already be questioning your business model. And also all these other fighters and what they were getting paid. You got a Danny Jacobs facing a Canelo, and he's getting paid like $10 million or $12 million, and he was getting paid substantially, a lot of money for his previous fight as well. You even see someone like a Mikey Garcia going over there on a one-fight deal, getting paid $7 million. Gennady Golovkin getting paid $14 to $15 million for his last fight. The type of deals that they were giving out were absurd. Where they probably could have, spent that money on other fighters and got substantially more dates and actually put content out there, more content for people to watch. That was the first big thing. The second big thing that they did that was wrong was they tried to use the Rock Nation, blueprint. When Rock Nation came into boxing, what they tried to do is they thought they were going to be able to just offer people a whole bunch of money, and they were going to be able to just sign all these fighters. And one of the main group of people that they went after were the Al Heyman fighters, and they went over there offering them substantial amounts of money. Supposing, I can give you this, I can give you that, or I can give you 30 million, I can offer you 40 million. And they weren't able, they were to get like one or two fighters that weren't really that big. They got like a Gamboa, they were able to get Rigondeaux, and one of the Detroit Flint Michigan brothers. I forget the damn names right now. I was able to get one of them, and that was it. They weren't really able to get anybody. And then people that they did get, they weren't able to do anything with their careers really. It was very hard for them to get people fights. Because of the way that they came, they kind of got blackballed. They got completely blackballed when it came to the PBC fighters. PBC wasn't setting up any fights with none of them, so they weren't able to do anything when it came to that. And ironically, you have somebody like a Gamboa, you have somebody like a Rigondeaux. Guess who all the fighters that you'd want to fight are signed to? They came with that type of mentality. Like, we're just gonna sign up all these fighters. It's gonna be so much money. They're just gonna, it's gonna be a takeover. But they weren't able to sign any of these fighters. Just like Rock Nation wasn't able to sign all those fighters. They didn't learn from that. Then they also got put into a space where they kind of got, blackballed as far as with the PBC thing. PBC still let certain people go there though. Jesse Vargas. Because Jesse Vargas, what were they going to do with Jesse Vargas? You offering Jesse Vargas that amount of money? Hell yeah, Jesse, you better go over there. These morons are going to pay you $3 million a fight. Yeah, you better go sign over there. Al Heyman was like, hell yeah, them dummies are going to give you how much? Yeah, we can't give you that. You need to go over there. And he let them go ahead and sign. And, certain situations, if they could take that money from them, they did that. But for the most part, they kept their fighters right where they were. And the fighters are still making money just due to the fact that they, like I said, they get from the network deals, the television rights, the concessions, the gates, merchandise, everything. They're still getting paid financially a lot of money. So they were good. So that didn't work out. And then the other big thing was the person that you have in control of the United States market is somebody from the UK that knows absolutely nothing about what's going United States boxing. Doesn't know anything about how things are run over here. But you put that man in charge, and then you had him come here and try to use a UK model in a country where that's not going to work. And that clearly failed miserably, you know. And then the other thing they also did that was incorrect was they used the Rock Nation model, something that you could look at your past and you could see that it didn't work, yet they chose to do that. Okay? And in doing so also, one of the other main things was then they got, kind of got, blackballed a little bit. You still got certain type of fights, but for the most part, they kind of got blackballed when it came to certain things. It became very difficult for them to get, certain fights. And you've kind of blackballed yourself from those networks, which wasn't a good thing due to the fact that you're an app. You're an app. You should have come in here trying to be cool with these networks, trying to be cool with these other promoters, not coming out here like you're a threat. Try to put yourself into a space where you can work with them, and in doing so, that might have helped them to get ground. And also another thing I think they should have done was, and also in becoming cool with them, try to put themselves into a space where instead of being a standalone entity, put yourself into a space where you can be bundled or packaged in deals with these cable networks. So you put yourself into a space where then everybody's getting, this, and this, like ESPN Plus. You get ESPN Plus, you get ESPN Plus, you get Hulu, you get Disney. They're packaged up. So they got a substantial amount of people that are paying for them and probably don't even watch them. You know what I mean? So you can put it in, and then you can be at a lower price, range. You're not going to get per buy person. You're not going to get as many, as much money, but you'd be getting so many customers, or that at the end of the day it wouldn't matter. You're still going to get more money than you are right now. You're still going to generate more than you are right now, and you'll have that consistent flow coming in as well. But that's not the model that they took. And then they also decided they were going to use the HBO model. We're going to just get these particular guys who are known. We're going to put them in there, and people are just going to buy our product because they're fighting. Which, again, does not work in the United States. You have to still have fights that people want to see. If you don't, they're not going to buy your product. Especially since you're standalone, which pretty much all you're doing is just sports. It's just boxing that people are interested when it comes to you. They're not interested in anything else. It's not like Showtime where we have all these shows that we can watch. It's not like ESPN where you have all this other content that you can watch as well. That's even when HBO was around, there was still other content that you were able to watch. All you have is just your boxing, pretty much. Especially when it comes to the United States, that's all you have is your boxing, nothing else. Yet you have a substantial, absorbent amount of money that's being spent to try to get customers in this area, in the United States, in this particular market. So, in using that HBO model wasn't working for them. And then on top of that, the head of your company, you have a man that is a drug addict, okay, who basically put ESPN into a space where they were losing billions of dollars, and they had to cut all kinds of jobs trying to recoup some of the funds that they had lost because he wasn't doing his business, his job right. So they had to get rid of him and get somebody else to come in to fix his mess ups. That's the guy you chose to put in in charge of your company. And then I remember the last thing, that one of the things that he said, it was like, we're gonna be in here for the long haul, kind of like PBC was, and we're gonna stick with Canelo, we're gonna stick with Golovkin, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, man, you're taking a small piece of what PBC was doing, and then you're trying to work it into it doesn't work. Like, I'm gonna take the HBO model, but then I'm gonna be consistent with the HBO model, like PBC was consistent with their model. You're working with a broken freaking model to begin with. PBC wasn't. So it's not gonna work. So just put them into a bad space. And I used to find it funny how people used to say, oh, look at how much money they're spending on boxing. Look at how much money, they got more money than anybody. Look at what they're doing. Look at all the money they have. These other people can't compete. And I'm thinking to myself, do y'all know who Disney is? You know, do you guys have any idea that the type of funds that, like, let's say, an ESPN has, or a show, Showtime, or HBO? Do you know the networks that they're tied to, and their finances and the funds that these companies have? You're talking about companies that they spend yearly what DZON is worth. They spend yearly what DZON is worth. Like that, what they're worth is nothing to them. They could take that money, put it in a pile, burn it, and it wouldn't affect them at all. The head of DZON, when he was at ESPN, he caused ESPN to probably lose what DZON is worth. They still rolling. Kept it on trucking. They're good. You know what I mean? They're good. You're talking about completely different levels. And that's why now that we're in this pandemic, you don't see CBS, ABC, the Fox, Disney. You don't see none of these companies, saying, I need a bail. They're saying, what's it called? Oh, you know what I mean? We need somebody to bail us out, to give us some money, or either that or we need to sell this company. Disney has all their parks closed right now. All their parks are closed right now. Do you see them stressing? No, they're good. They're still making funds. And it doesn't matter how much money they're running through a month. It doesn't matter. That's how long their money is. It doesn't matter. You're talking about being on a completely different galaxy. That's why, PBC, you see them, they're just chilling. They're not screaming about, oh, somebody needs to buy us out. The ones that were supposedly PBCs they're the ones who are going broke all the time. They're the ones about to be bankrupt all the time. This pandemic happens. You hear anything about them? No, absolutely nothing. They're chilling. They're chilling. Don't go to war unless your money is right. You came out bossing out on some big boy-ish with your chest up. Instead of trying to make friends and making things work, you came out trying to make enemies. And thought that you could physically push and rush yourself into a situation, even though history, time and time again, has showed that no, you can't. It's not that easy. It's very difficult to break into that market. Especially for people who have a foundation, some of them who have had this foundation set for decades. For decades. And now it looks like they've been put into a position where they're paying for the decisions that they've made. So the next couple of months, we'll see if they can survive this. In the long term, they're done. It's a wrap. It's only so much that people are going to be fusing money into a company. And especially when even the owner of the company says, nah, the main investor, I'm not putting any more my money in there. In fact, I need to get my money back. We need to do something to get rid of this thing so I can get my funds back. In doing so, it's pretty much the end, Unless one of these, they better, I'm figuring they're probably going to end. They might end up selling to a company like Disney on the low. And then they'll take the DZON, they'll bundle it in packages for Europe, and they'll end up making money off that ish. But we'll see. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.